Hi everyone, and welcome to this video. In this video, I'm going to show you how to create a dashboard using Excel spreadsheet. And we're going to use this data right here from top all the way to the bottom, as you can see. And we will turn this to pivot tables, and we turn that from pivot table to pivot chart, and we turn the charts to dashboard. These are all going to be done on Excel. So stay with me as we go through this in a moment. All right, so we have this data, as I said, and I created different sheets for different charts that we will be using. The first one is where the data is sitting right here. The next one is where we're going to put the dashboard. I'm going to show you how to do this. And we have the first chart that we're going to build, which is going to be for the sales by managers. And this one is going to be for sales by region. And this is going to be for sales by product. And this is going to be sales by year. I'm going to have to take this out so we can do from scratch. Okay, so the third one that I said is for sales by product. I'm going to take that also out of that. And you see how we build this from scratch. And yes, so the first thing we're going to do is to create that dashboard, prepare it, and we will just be dropping the charts into the dashboard. So right here, we're going to, first of all, take out the grid lines. So we go to views right here. This is your home tab, and this is where the view is. Go to view and we uncheck the grid lines. Once we do that, you see the grid line out of the sheet, and we highlight, we go back to home, and then we select the color that we want to use for the background. So we select that. This is going to be like a light gray color for the dashboard background. The next thing we're going to do is to go to insert, and we click on shapes. We select the shape that we want to use. I pick the square, and I'm going to use that to draw the header. So I draw that here, and then we have the header. I'm going to name that sales overview, and I'm going to expand that. I'll make that big, highlight, and go back to home and increase the font like so, and then we bring it to center, and we can further decorate this as we want, but this is pretty much what the header is going to look like. Okay, so here we're going to put the slicer here. Now, either we want the slicer or we want the timeline, whatever we want, we're going to put that, and we're going to put all the charts in this space right here. Okay, so let's go ahead and start creating our charts. The first one is sales by manager. So if you want to do that, I already prepared this, but if you want to do this, go to the data and go to insert and click on pivot table. When you click on pivot table, it's going to ask you the data range that you want to pick. It will highlight. And once you click OK, remember to put that it should create it in a new sheet. If you want to put it in a new sheet, if you don't want to put it in a new sheet, you can create it anywhere here, and it's going to be on the same worksheet. But for this purpose, we're going to use a new sheet. So once you click on that, it will bring it to somewhere like this. And when you click on this pivot table icon, you will see all the fields right here. The first thing we want to do is say we want to create sales by manager. So we're going to pick the managers and drop it in rows. And then we pick the revenue and drop it in values. And now we have the sales by managers. We're going to sort this from largest to smallest. So right click, make sure your cursor is on the number. So right click, and then you go to sort largest to smallest, and it's going to arrange that from biggest to smallest. I'm going to take out the decimals here and just click on that. Another way to do that, if I undo it, you just go to format, you press Ctrl+1, and then this box is going to pop up, and then you go to currency, or even if it's number, you can reduce the decimal places. But because it's currency, we're going to go to currency and still reduce the decimal places like so, and then we click OK. As you can see, because we selected only one, so we only put the decimal there. So we're going to highlight and go over it again, Ctrl+1, and then we go to currency. Make sure you highlight, and then you reduce the decimal places and click OK. So we have the currency icon on the data. So let's create the chart for this. We go to pivot table analyze, we go to pivot chart, and then these are the various charts that we can pick or select from. But for this one, let's just go with the color. So I'm going to select that, and then we have that. We can clean this up a little bit. Let's take away the line, and then let's try to take all these icons away. Right click on that and then hide all field icons. Okay, so let's take this up. We actually don't need this because, yeah, so this is fine. And you can add data label if you want to. You can put that. We can name this to help people reading to understand what that chart is for. So sales by manager, and we put that there. And then the next one we're going to do is to add slicer to it, and we're going to have to insert slicer, and this is going to be managers, and then we click OK. So we have the slicer for manager, and we're going to connect this to the chart. So we're going to have to select all of them so that it will see all the charts within this dashboard. So we can now change to see whatever we want, and it will make more sense when we have all the other charts. So let me clear the selection, and yes, we can change this. Let's say we want to change this, the slicer icon. You can come up right here and click this down arrow. You can select any one that you want, and then we can decide to change this also to match the slicer, and then we have it. I mean, you're free to do whatever you want. So this first one is done. You're going to have to copy, Ctrl C, and then we take that to the dashboard, and then Ctrl V, we paste it here. And you can also change this inner color to no fill. I'm going to take that back to black, and then we change this to no fill so that it just kind of look good. Depends on what you want to do. And then for the lines, we're going to have to add blue line to match what we have on the header, and then we have that. Okay, so we can put the slicer here, and let me bring the slicer. Okay, I copy the slicer, and then I take the slicer to the dashboard right here. I put that here also, and we can begin to clean this up as we move closer. And because these are two colors, so we're going to have to change this again. Come to slicer here, and we can change this to blue so everything blends. I'm going to have to change this back to blue, the fill color back to blue to match what we have here. So this is the first one. Let me reduce the slicer a little because I'm bringing more things there. Okay, so we can continue to adjust this as the need arises. Okay, and then we go to the next one, sales by region. And if we click on the pivot tables, let me take that away. So we want to find sales by region. So we're going to put region, and we're going to put sales, which is the revenue. And we want to sort this also from largest to smallest. For some reason, I like doing this. And then we go ahead and reduce the decimal. You can do that from here also. And you can also add the currency from here also. Okay. All right. So we're going to go to pivot chart analyze, and we're going to select our pivot chart. We want pie chart. We're going to pick pie chart, and we select OK. I'm going to take off the legend, right click, and hide value buttons on chart. So we hide all of them. We take this off so that we can point whoever is reading this report to what the chart is talking about. Okay, so I'm going to name this. Okay, let me bring this down a little. I'm going to name it sales by region. Okay, and then I'm going to add slicer to it so you go to pivot chart analyze, and you're going to put slicer, and then we put region, and then we click OK. We reduce this a little bit, and I'm going to have to report connection here so that you can see every chart on the dashboard, and then we click OK. I'm going to copy the two of them and take them to the dashboard. Okay, I'm bringing this to the dashboard. I'm going to paste them both, and I'll bring the slicer down here so that when we select, everything makes sense. And I bring this up here so I can draw this to make it bigger so that we maximize the space, and also this one too to maximize the space. I'm going to delete this one, close this. I click on this and I go to the fill and I say no fill, and then for the line I put a blue line like we did before. Okay, all right, so I just want to make sure that it's the same line, is the same color that I selected. So I do that again. The line, I need it to match, so that's fine. So if you can see what I'm talking about. So for Dolapo, we can see Dolapo's performance in this region. If we add data label to this, it becomes smaller. We can make this another color. Let's put it white and make it bold and increase it. Oh, yeah, so that's Dolapo. If you want to see Mike, you can see the interactivity. So let's go ahead and finish up the other two. So we're going to see top 5 products. So I go to data and then I'm going to insert. Make sure your cursor is on any of the cells that has data. Insert, pivot table, and then it has highlighted everything, and then I'm telling it to take it to a new worksheet, and I click OK. So we have a new worksheet, and I'm bringing that to this side, take it out, and then I name this top 5 products. So we have that. So I'm going to bring product into rows, and I'll bring revenue right here. We could use revenue, we could use count. In some cases, the count might be lower and the revenue might be higher depending on the price of the product. So it's safer to use the revenue. So I'm going to go back to where the data is, right click and sort from largest to smallest, and then clean it up the way we did earlier. Okay, highlight everything and then reduce the decimal to make it neater, and then click the down arrow and put currency. We're still going to reduce that, and then that's fine. For this, we're going to use, we want to find the top 5, right? So we have more than 5 here. We have 7. So go to this arrow here, click that, go to value filter, click that, come below to click the top 10, and then we change the 10 here to 5, and we click OK. So this reduces it to 5, and I'm going to give it a chart. I'm going to go to pivot chart, and I don't want to take this. I'm going to take bar. So I click on bar, and then I click OK, and we have this. So I'm going to take this line off like so, and I'll take the legend away. So I right click and hide all buttons on chart, and then I'm going to have to increase this chart to fill up this. I'll take this total away because this is explanatory enough. Okay, so I'm going to still, okay, and increase it up a little bit, and then I'll change the title to top 5 product, top 5 product. So I'm going to have to sort this to start from the top to the lowest. For some reason, I don't know why this does this, but yeah. And then I add filter to this. So I go to pivot chart, and then I go to slicer to add slicer, and it's the region, sorry, it's the product that we're trying to add. So click OK. So we have the slicer for product, and if I go back to the design, slicer design, I select this. So I'm going to copy So before we copy, let's add connection, and I go back to slicer, click on slicer, and once you click on the slicer, go up here, and then click on report connection so that you can connect all the other charts on the dashboard, and that's where the interactivity is. So we're going to copy it now and take it to the dashboard, and then this is the dashboard. I'm going to paste both of them, and then I'll separate them so I can bring this here, and I reduce this a little so the space is enough, and I adjust that. And then for this other one, I'm going to have to move everything so they align. Okay. And then we take let's clear the filter here so everything makes sense. Okay, so I'm going to take off the fill. Click on this and take off the fill right here, no fill. And then we pick the sales, the revenue. We're going to have to bring the year here. Okay, we take this one out. Okay. So we have the product sales by year. So we're going to have to pick the product, and we take the product, put the product here, and we take the year up here. So this makes sense. And we can now highlight everything and then reduce the decimal like so. We do that for the total also. Reduce the decimal. And we have the sales by year, and we can actually put this in a chart, pivot chart, analyze, and then we can pick this one and click OK. You can sort from largest to smallest, and also yeah. So that's sorted. We take out the line here, and we take out the legend. So hide all buttons on the chart, and we leave this because we actually need this. And for the title, we will need the title, and we'll have to bring the title in. Okay, so we'll find that when we get to the main page, we'll copy and just paste. So we're going to add data label to everything. Okay, so we add to the second one also, add data label. We can turn this up if we want. We can leave it like this if we desire. And let's bring in the slicer. We want to bring the product slicer. Okay, and then we click OK, and then we can click on that to report connection, and then make sure everything is selected, and it looks like everything is selected. So we copy this and then take it to the dashboard, and this is where we have the dashboard finally. And then you can now take this away to create room. I want to take off the fill. I don't want any fill, and I want to add lines, so I'm going to select the blue one that we've been using for the line, the blue, this one. Okay, so I'm going to change this to white and make it bolder and increase it a little bit. And then the second one can actually pick everything. Okay, so let me add date to this slicer. I insert timeline, so I select date and I click OK. So we have the date and the timeline, and then we can filter by year, by month, by quarter, and whichever one that we want. And I'm going to add this so that I can see every other sheet on that dashboard. So I'm going to copy this and take it to the dashboard so that when we filter by date, we can see the action. And perhaps we don't actually need all of this, so we might eventually need to take out some of these slicers because the date is enough. So if I reduce this a little bit, I need to be able to see that. Okay, so I'm going to have to take this. Let me take this managers away and bring the date here. So the date is more important. So if I filter by date, we can see the performance of each person. In 2015, you can see the performance in 2015, and you can see the performance in 2016. Okay, so if I clear the filter here, and this is going to be by year, I feel that we should use line graph for this one. So let's go back. We can change the chart here. Change chart type. Let's try to use line graph here. And I select this one. I click OK. And then this looks better. The fill color to white. And then the call out, the X and Y axis to black. In the X-axis to black. So this is just gonna like make everything shell. So you can see that. Okay, I'm gonna this one to black also, and also this one to black also. Okay, so you can see that 2015 has more sales. So if you want to see the performance in 2016, this is everything for 2016, as you can see, and we need to add the data to this one. And that's it. So if you want to see performance in 2015, that is it. If you want to change, the filter, you want to find by quarter, you want to see performance by quarter, you can see Q1 performance in 2015. We do not have data. And then in 2016 Q4, we started having data. So it means that we didn't sell anything between Q1 to Q3, but from Q4, we started having data. You can see that. Then if you move all the way to Q1 2016, you can see the data for that. You can also filter this Q1 in 2016. What does the performance look like, or what did it look like? You can search by region in 2016. This is the performance by different managers in the Eastern region in 2016. And then if you go to South, this is the performance. And if you go to West, this is the performance in West. And if you want to filter by, let me clear the filter here, by product. I want to see the performance of Delta Soap in Q1 2016 across all the regions. And then this is everything for Delta Soap. This is everything for Ever Soap. And this is how you can use interactive dashboard to see what is happening. And you can change this to months. So you can see performance in different months. And if you scroll to December, you can see the performance by month. Okay, so let's clear it and take it back to either quarter or year. So this is a little bit more high level, and yes, so that's how to create your interactive dashboard. You can clear the filter this way. Just click the X beside the filter and the filter is cleared. So that's how to create your dashboard, and thank you for watching this video. All right.